How can a country of just 9 million people have such a grip on the world's biggest superpower? Why does the US send $3.8 billion every year to Israel, while Americans struggle with healthcare, housing, and student debt? Why do American presidents, Republican and Democrat alike, all stand in line to promise loyalty to Israel no matter what? And why, even after thousands of dead children in Gaza, does Washington continue to send bombs stamped Made in USA? The answer lies in history, politics, money, religion, and power. Today, we're going to connect the dots. Let's start with the numbers. Since World War II, the United States has given over $260 billion in aid to Israel, more than to any other country in the entire world. But this isn't just foreign aid. It's a pipeline, a guaranteed, unstoppable stream of U.S. taxpayer money that flows straight into Israel's military machine. Every year, the U.S. sends $3.8 billion to Israel. That's about $10 million every single day. And where does it go? To fighter jets, to bombs, to tanks, to missile defense systems like the Iron Dome. All of it funded by American taxpayers. Take 2016, for example. Under President Obama, the U.S. signed the largest military aid deal in American history, a $38 billion package over 10 years. Locked in, guaranteed, no matter who sits in the White House. That means while Americans argue about how to pay for healthcare or education, Israel never has to worry about where its next warplane is coming from. Here's the catch. Much of this money never even leaves the U.S. By law, a huge portion of the aid must be spent on American defense companies, giants like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon. So Israel gets the weapons, the corporations get the profits, and ordinary Americans, they get the bill. Take the F-35 stealth fighter jet. Each one costs around $80 million. The U.S. has supplied dozens to Israel, making it one of the few countries in the world with access to this next-generation aircraft. Meanwhile, teachers in Detroit buy school supplies out of their own pockets. Or consider Israel's Iron Dome. This missile defense system has received over $2.6 billion in U.S. funding since 2011. That's money that could have rebuilt crumbling U.S. infrastructure. Bridges, roads, and water systems that experts say will cost over $2 trillion to repair. While Israel expands its military arsenal, over 500,000 Americans are homeless. While Israeli cities are shielded by U.S.-funded defense systems, tens of millions of Americans live without health insurance. So ask yourself, why does a nation of 9 million people get unlimited U.S. tax dollars while 330 million Americans are told there's no money for basic needs? This isn't generosity. It's not charity. It's an investment in war, an investment in the military-industrial complex that profits from endless conflict. And behind every dollar, every deal, every jet and missile is a network of politics, lobbying, and influence that keeps this pipeline flowing. So the question is, why? Is this really about strategy? Or is there something far deeper? Money, power, and control driving America's unconditional support for Israel?
This is where names matter. One organization stands at the center, AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. For decades, AIPAC has been called the most powerful foreign policy lobby in Washington. Its annual conferences draw thousands of politicians, business leaders, and donors, with U.S. presidents, both Republican and Democrat, showing up to pledge loyalty on stage. But it's not just speeches, it's money. In the 2022 midterms alone, pro-Israel groups poured over $30 million into campaign donations. AIPAC's Super PAC, the United Democracy Project, spent millions to defeat candidates who criticized Israel. Even Democrats like Donna Edwards in Maryland or Andy Levin in Michigan, both targeted and beaten after questioning unconditional U.S. aid to Israel. The message is clear. Step out of line, and you're gone. Former Congressman Paul Findley once said that voting against Israeli interests is political suicide. He knew firsthand. After serving 22 years in Congress, his career ended once he started questioning U.S. policy toward Israel. And AIPAC isn't alone. There's Christians United for Israel, led by televangelist John Hagee, mobilizing millions of Christian Zionists to pressure Congress. There's the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, presenting itself as a civil rights group, but often lobbying to silence critics of Israel. And dozens of PACs, some with vague names like Pro-Israel America PAC, funnel millions into local elections. Together, these groups form what scholars like John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt have called the Israel Lobby, one of the most powerful forces in Washington, shaping U.S. foreign policy more than any think tank, business lobby, or grassroots movement. And the influence isn't only financial. The lobby has deep reach into the media and academia. Organizations like the Middle East Media Research Institute, or MEMORY, and the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, or YNAP, pump out reports, op-eds, and talking points that frame Israel as America's indispensable ally. This machine works quietly but effectively. Presidents from Clinton to Bush, Obama to Biden, and now Trump have all maintained the same bottom line: billions for Israel, unquestioned support no matter the human cost. But money and lobbying are only half the picture. There's something deeper, a narrative, a story that has been carefully crafted for decades. For decades, Israel has been sold to the American public as the only democracy in the Middle East. From Hollywood movies to school textbooks, Israel is painted as a brave little country surrounded by enemies. Meanwhile, Palestinians are often erased or portrayed as aggressors. Look at U.S. presidents. From Reagan to Bush, Clinton to Obama, Biden to Trump, every one of them repeats the same script. America stands with Israel. Why? Because challenging that narrative would be political suicide. But there's another layer that makes this even stronger: religion. Millions of American evangelicals believe that Israel's survival fulfills biblical prophecy. Groups like Christians United for Israel, led by Pastor John Hagee, openly preach that supporting Israel is God's will. That means millions of votes tied to religion, a powerful bloc no president wants to lose. In 2018, when Trump moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, it wasn't just for Israel, it was also a gift to evangelicals. So we have money, we have lobbying, we have religion, but what about consequences? What happens when U.S. leaders keep supporting Israel no matter the cost? Here's the contradiction. America claims to defend democracy and human rights, yet it bankrolls a system of apartheid, illegal settlements, and endless bombings. Every missile that hits Gaza, paid for with American tax dollars. Every hospital destroyed, linked back to Washington. And this is why so many are asking, who's ruling who? Is America guiding Israel, or is Israel guiding America? Former U.S. officials like General David Petraeus have even admitted blind support for Israel is fueling anti-American sentiment worldwide. In other words, this isn't just about Palestine. It's about America's future.
So, is Israel ruling the American government? The evidence is there. The billions in aid, the lobbying machine, the narrative control, the religious influence, and the political cost of saying no. A country of 9 million people dictating policies of a superpower of 330 million. But here's the real question. How long can this last? As more Americans wake up to the truth, as global outrage grows, silence becomes impossible. And when that silence finally breaks, the question won't just be about Israel. It'll be about America itself. Whose interests is Washington really serving? Its people or someone else's?